Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to today's video. Now this reason why I'm doing it like this, okay, is because yes, this is my initial reaction to Raksha before I actually stopped, looked at the footage, and I'll let this play in the background while I actually discuss the real way to fight Raksha. Now, I didn't get to phase 2, but I got enough of phase 1 to understand what you do need to do in, at least in phase 1, enough for it to go on throughout the fight. Now, the first mistake I made, and the reason why I do have this muted and recorded over top, is because, number one, I started out using magic. Magic is not a bad way to do him, but it is not ideal. Mostly because his biggest damage is going to be range. So there's something I noticed right off the bat when I first started. Like, I was going over the footage. Okay, so this is why magic wasn't actually that bad of a choice initially. But I was using Soul Split and that wasn't working out too well. Now, when Raksha got closer, what I should have done was I should have escaped. The one thing you want to actually kind of do with Raksha is you kind of want to kite him around the field. So that's the one thing you want to do, is you kind of want to kite him. But instead of using, well, you can use magic, but there's more to it. But the primary thing you want to use is actually range. You don't want to use melee. Melee is actually a horrible idea against Raksha, because then you'll have to worry about 3 forms of combat. And Raksha can hit hard with all 3 forms. Now, his main big hits for each is just the fact that he has big tail swipe, which does a massive amount of damage, which is a melee attack. And then you also have magic attack, which he just did right there, which does normally a very large amount. But what you do want to do is actually deflect. Curses are actually a big thing in this. And what Raksha just did just there, that little run thing, if I would have had him, because it happens in a later part in one of these fights, that if he would actually kind of run into the wall and get stopped by the wall. So what I would have had to do is actually just get out of his way, and then he would have just kept running, and then he would have had to walk over to me again. So ideally, you want to use range against them. You want to deflect, not protect, but deflect, because he's not immune to deflect. So you want to deflect the range back at him. This way he's taking some of that damage. But the biggest reason why I wanted to re-record this video is because it didn't dawn on me. Like, I had hunches throughout the video, but I didn't say it. And it didn't dawn on me right away, but you shouldn't be using dual wield or a two-handed weapon. What? Whoa. Why did that go away? What I wanted to say was, you shouldn't be using any of that. Okay, I guess I'm going to do this instead. That's alright, you guys aren't missing much, trust me. But what you want to be doing is actually using maybe your constitution ability, or most importantly though, your defensive abilities. These are actually going to be some of your best friends in this fight. I would say, I have to say, probably not as much as, constitution, not nearly as important as defense. Now the reason being is because, as if you see the fight a little bit, you'll see there's certain points and times where a defensive ability such as, I think it's resonance, would be extremely useful. But also he has a couple abilities that kind of stuns you. So what you kind of want to do, and one of his stuns is actually his, my brain's not working now, is actually his tail swing. So, but see, if you stay away from his tail swing, you don't really have to worry about that. Also, using range can actually help you, kind of defeat the anima pools, the shadow anima pools. They'll generally be here, here, and maybe off to the sides, like right there you can see one right there. There's an anima pool, and right there, that one right there. Those shadow animal pools, if you let them alone, if you don't take care of them, he actually gets stronger. Or he could actually heal off of it. I'm not entirely sure. But as you can see there, that tail swing is a very powerful melee attack. I think at one point he did over 6,000 damage on me with that. Even though his max hit is supposed to only be about 4,000 for each type. But he also has another attack that does stun you, so you would want something like Freedom available to you. You want Devotion available to you, especially when those animal pools actually pop up, because if they pop up, you could actually use that to use like the range ability, or even the magic ability, like the magic chains or ricochet. Those are the abilities I was thinking about. The chain attack or ricochet. This way you can actually hit Raksha and then hit those. But if those aren't out, feel free to use those on Raksha normally. Especially if you have the greater ricochet, because greater ricochet is even better yet. Sorry guys, my throat's a little dry. But yeah, greater ricochet is even greater yet, where if there's not those other targets for him to hit, it'll go in and just hit him for a massive amount of damage. But Devotion is definitely a good one. You're going to want to use that. I would say Revenge is actually a good one to use. So, increasing your own max hit for a little while, which would be very good to actually have. Reflect would be another good one to have. So, these are actually kind of good. Divert would be a good one to actually have. Divert or Resonance if you have it. Because there's a lot of times where he has some heavy hitting attacks. So Resonance would actually be kind of a good one. And of course you want Preparation then to kind of help you get back those abilities back. Barricade would be very good with these battles because it would actually help you. And Debilitate would actually be another one that would be really good for you. The ones that wouldn't be good for you is like Bash, because you don't want to go up there and have to hit him with your shield. So, you want these kind of abilities to actually, you want to use defense abilities, because here you'd have full protection, full curse, actually protection. So you would be doing full his damage back at him. Like, these are things that you actually have to think about when taking on Raksha. You don't want all these little baby attacks. And see, I was having so many problems fighting Raksha in this initial video that it was actually kind of horrible. And here, I'll let it go. I won't put the audio back in because I'm saying about a lot of what I'm learning and what you should and shouldn't do. But in reality, I was full of shit because no matter what I did, granted, I was right, pop all the things that you can, do all those things as you would normally. When the anima pools spawn, you do want to attack those. So, like, those things are actually very, very true. Of course, as you've seen there, you can go into the boss room and not actually fight Raksha. You just kind of have to stand back. And there was actually something I just now noticed. There was actually something highlighted in blue. Let's see if I can actually get that up again. This way, you know, you guys can see it. I think I skipped ahead instead of, yeah, I skipped ahead instead of going backwards. See, I'm still kind of being a little derpy about everything, but as you can see, there's something else is going to be going on right there. So these shadow anima cranes, as you can see, these are where the shadow anima can actually kind of pop up. So if this one drops, he is there, over there, and then of course there is a few on the other side, like right here. So those are actually the vials or canisters that you actually kind of need to worry about, because you don't want him absorbing those. But as you've seen there, like, yeah, see, 6,739. The reason why I took that much damage, though, was because I was not kiting him. I was not using my defensive abilities. Yeah, you probably do want to go full manual to fight this guy, this boss. But you want to use a mixture of range and defense, because, like I said before, you want to go through and have the capability of getting to those anima pools quicker. So you're going to want ranged attacks, you know, distance, and then fighting him head on wouldn't be so bad, but then you're just dealing with all three forms of combat. And if you have a high defense combined with a shield, his magic attacks probably won't be as severe. You can even probably actually do one of the things that I actually like to do, is where, yeah, even though his ranged attack and mage attack does pretty strong, probably one of the things you could actually do is leech his range. So you want to use the highest one. I forget, it's not turmoil, but it's one right next to it. So you would want to use turmoil, not turmoil, the ranged version of turmoil. You'd want to use that and probably deflect mage. The reason why I say that is because this way, you know, you're draining his melee capability. Well, not melee, but his range capabilities, and feeding it to yourself. But so you're weakening him. But then you're also protected against magic. It's very possible that's probably... See, there he did the run. And see, that was one of those points where if I would have had, like, Surge or something ready and on my mind, I could actually just say surged forward as he was running the other way and just hit him a bunch of times. Also, it is worth mentioning that I am, in this video, I am only using... you know, melee, which is, I was using the Sea Singer stuff, you know, the stuff from ports, so it's kind of health oriented stuff. It's not really power armor at all. So, but there is certain things about this fight that people have to actually really watch as they're going through. Now, I'm just letting you guys see the fight a little bit, since I was kind of rambling going to even now. But I thought it'd be better to ramble on over top of what the actual rambling was, because the actual rambling was not good. And here I'm just doing an overview, so that's actually not that important. This overview is, again, not very important. So what I want to do is I want to go back. And yeah, it's just, do you guys yourself a favor. If you are going to fight Raksha, number 1, bring range. Number 2, bring a shield. Bring your defense capabilities. He is basically he wrapped around both. If you use both, it will not be a problem. Do use your deflect, because if you use deflect, you can use devotion ability to actually get that. And the reason why I suggest doing that around the times when the animal pools drop is because each time you get a kill, it extends your devotion ability. So, if you extend the devotion ability, there's only going to be really potentially just one attack hitting you. Hopefully only one attack, but these are things that, like I said, just keep that in mind. Use your range, study your defense abilities. It does look like Jagex is actually putting forth some effort to make it so you have to use both magic and defense. Well, not just magic and defense, but you know, you have to use your basic attacks and defense. And I like how what I tried to do there was actually get him into the corner and tried to kite him. It was an interesting concept, interesting theory I had, but it did not work, clearly. So, that's actually going to be it, though, for this video. Do be careful. I'm sorry if this isn't, you know, like up to par, but keep in mind, this was only supposed to be just my findings, what I found, and my first attempts. So, keep that in mind as you go through. Don't make the mistakes I did and take him one head direct like that. He will absolutely just eat you alive if you do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, later guys.